It also helps to be a big man. And Ty is a big man. So women love him. Tie me up, tie me down. Over here.
Yeah, my question is for anyone that wants to jump in. My interest traditionally was in science fiction, and I was told I should watch the show because of the politics it deals with. And I brought a lot of other friends into it that are more interested in politics, and what we love about the show is the constant tension between human civilizations on the verge of extinction. We have these civil liberties, democracy that we cherish and love, but sometimes they're directly in, conflict with one another, so what's gonna give? And to each one of you that wants to answer it, what to you is the most interesting dilemma that the shows have to deal with versus civil liberties and the greater good?
That's a good question. I think the show is one of the strengths of the show. Firstly, the show is greater than the sum of all of its parts. It's a very unusual phenomenon. But secondly, by having Cylons that look like humans, we're constantly asking ourselves to address what it means to be a human being. And on that level, when you're afraid about the threat from within, it's not necessarily about curtailing the civil liberties. It's about almost looking in the mirror and trying to fathom exactly what it is that makes you tick, and how different you might be to a synthetic robot that looks pretty much identical to you. Or in my case with Tricia, somebody looked a lot better looking.
Go ahead. Sort of related to that, one of the things that Ron and David have said from the word go is that they're not doing their jobs. If you don't, at least once an episode, ask yourself, am I rooting for the wrong team? So it makes you, turn and look at ourselves. And I think one of the joys of the show, one of the strengths, is that if you read some of the blogs, some of the political blogs, both left and right hail it as a fine example of liberal values and a fine example of conservative values, and everybody finds something to grasp onto and say, that's us at the show. So it also makes you look at the other sides that perhaps you wouldn't consider.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that I think that's what makes the show happen. And to comment on it is just to say that there's excellent understanding of what's happening today in our society, because I think we're the #1 most downloaded show on the planet today, right now. And the reason is for that is because China, Russia, India are all downloading it also. And they don't get the, I don't think they get the program without pulling it off the internet. And so it's become now a big issue as to the humanity that we do express, both in the Cylon and in the human world. To me, I can't tell you how incredible it was to have to deal with suicide bombers in the time when suicide bombing was like so sort of catastrophic. How could they do this? These people do this to themselves and send their women and their children and kill themselves like that. And these people are fanatics, and we started criticizing them. And all of a sudden, we're using it in BattleStar Galactica as the human beings doing it to the Cylons. And all of a sudden, everybody's going, well, that makes sense, as Ty says so eloquently, and so does Laura Roslin, say, what else are you going to do? You're going to die anyway, so what the hell? Might as well give your life for it. And all of a sudden, everybody had to really come to terms with it, just like they did with, abortion, the right to live, the right to die. I mean, after a while, I even had to say, you're not going to kill that child. You don't have the right to make the choice of killing the baby. I know we have the right to choose on Caprica, but guess what? Here, we need every single one of us. So we'd love to give you that right, but we have to take it from you. All of a sudden, everybody started going, holy shit, wait a minute. How do I feel about that? And then the whole thing about God and gods, please. I mean, everybody's going, holy mackerel, wait a minute. The Cylons believe in one God, and everybody else believes in the gods. and all of a sudden religion has become huge on this show. And the understanding of religion and versus spirituality. I mean, Adam is atheist. You know, you see him, you hear him, he says, I don't believe in any of this. You know, I even take out, every time they say, well, God's, you know, this or the other, and I always take it out of the dialogue. You know, I take it out myself, because the writers still don't get it. You know, that Adama doesn't believe in God, okay? And that, like, makes everybody's brain go, you know, he's my idol, man, I'm Christian. Oh, no. And then all of a sudden the Muslims get involved and go, well, that's smart. You know, and so it all comes down to what incredible thing science fiction is, and what an incredible world it allows us to work under, and how it's now become, and I do say this not because I'm on the show, but because it is a truth, and that truth is that this is the best uses of television that we've ever had in the history of TV. Thanks to science fiction. Great question.
Kevin, how does one give technical advice to a science fiction series set either in the past or the future?
It depends on the episode and the writer entirely. Some of the writers are more character-driven, some are more techie-driven, and it just depends entirely on the episode. Some, like, for example, Bradley Thompson and David Webb, tend to write the more techie episodes. They will actually consult from the very beginning. When we got the green light for season 2, we got a call from Bradley Thompson, and he said, okay, great, we're doing season 2, so here's the situation we want. How do we get into it? How the hell do we get out of it? and we work through that whole scatter thing. But sometimes they don't need my help from the onset, so I get this every script and I just go through and make comments. And sometimes if they need a tech word, they'll write tech in brackets. So it ranges from being involved from the onset to just writing a word here and there. And in fact, in the beginning of season 3, they actually brought me Universal, and they were serious about finding Earth. What kind of portents can we find? What are good? What's bad? And we actually did a PowerPoint presentation and told them we need to look for pulsars, clusters, constellations bad. So in one case, I actually did a whole presentation, and a lot of those things we've actually used.
Cool, thanks. Over here.
Here's my question for each one of you. When you guys signed on, and you guys go, oh crap, we're gonna end up doing conventions, or did you say, Frank, yeah, we're gonna be doing conventions?
I think I answered that. I think Michael Hogan and I were the last ones to be able to understand what this really was all about. And it is about saying thank you to the people who have supported us and brought us to this level of understanding. So the first one in was the guy at the end of the chief, who definitely you all know by first name. And he knows you all by first name. So he, from the get-go, has become the biggest, understander of this whole concept of saying thank you back to to really the fans that have made this thing possible. So I think between the other guys, I think you both jumped on pretty quickly, didn't you? James, did you jump on?
I actually really did genuinely learn a lot from Aaron, because I was really of Eddie's mindset. I was like, oh, I'm an actor, and when they shout cut on the set, my job's finished. And Aaron said to me, buddy, you're so wrong about it. We heard about convention. I didn't even know what a convention was before BattleStar Galactica. And several people went, are you going to do those crazy conventions? I was like, what are they talking about? I don't know. And I went to one, but I can't remember when it was, and I didn't feel all that comfortable, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to go and do this again. And it was Aaron who kind of took me aside and was like, it's really important, James. The show hasn't finished when they shout cut. This is about all of the fans. This is about all of the people. It's about showing some generosity to all of the people who are putting us in this position. So I actually have to thank Aaron for putting me on the straight and narrow that way.